right, good morning and welcome once again to your program on Channel 57. It's our platform on the terrestrial. It's Channel 57 is Wazobia Max. Good morning. It's a Thursday morning. We heard that a lot of gridlock are back in town. Maybe it's caused by the rain or some unlawful drivers or probably some form of accident, especially for people inward the highland. Anyway, we are back and we will bring you fantastic stories on the show today. We have updates to also provide on some trending stories in town. And Nigeria is so big a country and bedeviled, with a lot of issues at the moment. But we seems to be finding a way around some of these issues, but some of them are really very trending. I will be talking about it. I have Ishoma Igaine with me in the studio. Ishoma, good morning.
Good morning, Dapper, and good morning, Nigerians. Welcome to CROSSFIRE.
All right, on CROSSFIRE this morning, a state of the nation and matters arising. We have a couple of issues that we'll quickly bring to your notice, and it is very instructive at this point in time to let you know that the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, will be returning back after a 10 days medical trip. Now, the 10 days medical trip also elapsed today, 16th of June 2016. Now, Buhari is expected back in the country today. The president in a statement, a statement from the presidency, let me put it this way, indicated that the president would, during the visit, before he left, to the United Kingdom, will be seeing the ear, nose, and throat specialist for a persistent hair infection. And now, a source who probably spoke on the platform of anonymity said on Wednesday, June 15th, yesterday, that the arrangement has been put in place to receive the president back in the country today. While he was away, the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, actually have been presiding over the affairs of the Federal Executive Council, and so many issues are already discussed, even while the president was away. Ishoma, President Muhammadu Buhari is back in town today.
Exactly, and it's time for him to take over from the Vice President left off. And of course, most importantly, to address some of the looming issues which has been everywhere in the Nigerian space. The issue of the mass sack in the banks, the issue of the Osun State drama here and there, the religious and ethnic statements which are being made on a daily basis, which one way or the other also give rise to so many unnecessary and unwarranted conflicts here and there. So there's so many issues Mr. President needs to attend to. I'm glad he'll be coming back.
Okay, all right. Talk about the mass sack that hits about 3 banks in the nation, and this is really very mild. I mean, it's really bothering a lot of us, especially some of us that qualifies to be called middle class Nigerians. And this is really very bad. The NLC to shut down banks if sacked workers are not called back to work. Now, the NLC has ordered banks to recall their sacked workers or risk industrial action. It accused the bank of arbitrary sacking of workers without following laws. Now, it sued a 14-day, they already issued a 14 days ultimatum to the affected banks through a letter signed by the Deputy General Secretary of the NLC, Mr. Chris Uyot, on behalf of the President, Mr. Ayuba Waba. Now, the financial institution has been hit by a wave of mass sack with more than 2,000 bankers relieved of their duties in the affected banks. Now, the letter stated that the Congress decided to issue the ultimatum, having been informed by the National Union of Bank, Insurance and Financial Institution employees that the banks did not adhere to labor law when it arbitrarily sacked the workers. Anyway, this story, we'll be building more on it, but we need to go on our first commercial break. When we come back, we will be talking about some of these issues. We'll be right back after this. We are back, and it's still Crossfire with Dakwa and Ishoma, and we have stories that we already read out before we went on that break, and we'll be building more on that, but we have a lot of other stories that we definitely will be talking about on the show today. Before we went on that break, we told you there was a mass sack that hit about 3 Nigerian banks. And meanwhile, the Nigerian Labour Congress already gave a 14 days ultimatum to all banks that are affected, or all bank workers affected must be recalled back to work. because they didn't adhere to labor laws. And now, Ishoma, I'm wondering. I know that the Nigerian court, the Nigerian Industrial Court, which definitely will be dealing with labor-related cases in the court, is still undergoing some form of, upgrading, or probably the Nigerian system is trying to make it work. But as a matter of fact, because I have had an industrial-related issue, with an organization I once worked with, and I know definitely that this bank is not functional. Because I had lawyers who probably came up to say, okay, let's go to the industrial court after we tried at the high court and it didn't work. So the truth is just that, do you think, thank God I have a learned colleague on the show.
The industrial court is
my question. Wait now.
I know your question, but the industrial court, yes, is saddled with labor-related matters. But the issue now is not about the court itself. It's a question of the law. And I can say this authoritatively that the Nigerian labor law is faulty and it needs serious amendment. The Nigerian labor law does not do sufficient justice to the Nigerian worker for a lot of reasons. Now, yes, we're all looking at the issue about termination. Okay, 1 month in lieu. You either have to give me 1 month in lieu of notice, or you pay me you can pay me off for that 1 month to use it as a cover-up. But should that be the only issue? Because the truth is, there are so many things that affect the life of an employee. For example, I am working in an organization. You are working in an organization. Our viewers are working in various organizations. What should be your term of service? Should you go outside your scope of duties and not get paid for it? These are some of the issues we have presently today, not covered under the label.
Yes.
Your time, your duration of payment, when should you be paid? These are part of the issues. Now, you also have the issue of review, salary review, other benefits, entitlements. How many companies pay their staffs proper entitlements when they leave in? All they give is just a salary and that's it. Severance package. How many companies pay that?
But I read something
in the private sector. But these are some of the things that should be covered in the Nigerian labor law. For example, there should be a deadline to say, okay, not exceeding the 6th of this particular new month, you as a staff should be paid, not exceeding. Because these are part of the laws.
No, you are taking this away from the scope of this story.
I'm building up on something.
Okay.
How many Nigerians can boast and say, okay, I have a tax clearance receipt for paying my tax as a Nigerian citizen?
I do have.
You do have, but the issue is how many. But then all of these issues should be factored under the Nigerian labor law, protecting your staffs, protecting employees.
Now,
but this is not the case in the Nigerian labor law.
In the same law,
so the truth is, we may be screaming and shouting here that yes, these banks, they're arbitrarily terminating. But when you look at the labor law, an employer has the right to terminate his staff at will.
Exactly, because there's a clause in the law that says that you cannot force an employee on an employer.
But should that be the case? Can this be applicable in advanced countries?
Okay.
Of course not.
Are you saying people are not released when there was recession in the United States of America?
That is the reason why I am saying that we need to amend the law. Now, before they let them go, for example, now look at the bank system. Now they have a National Union of Banks, Insurance Financial Institute, for employees.
Exactly.
Before you send these people away, you need to consult with the requisite unions and bodies. Because as an employer,
before you employ them, before they were employed, did you consult that body?
By virtue of,
was that body consulted when you were employing them?
By virtue of you employing them, you now need to consult with these with these union bodies before you take any drastic action. Remember, it is their duty to protect, just as it is the Nigerian Labour Congress. They have the right and duty to protect.
We'll come back to the story. It matters arising. We'll come back to it. All right, let's quickly take the next story. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's quickly look at which should I take first? Okay, so there's the fight, ceasefire and storm Ijaw community. Now, the reports we have before us is despite the 2-week ceasefire declared by the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, the Nigerian army invaded an Ijaw community in search of Niger Delta militants. And this has it that 3 people suspected to be pipeline bombers and oil thieves were arrested. Now, the Niger Sea Commandos, a new militant group, claims to have broken away from the Niger Delta Avengers and also invaded, Tebijo, if I hope I got that correct.
Yeah,
Tebijo,
Niger Delta
also
person,
known,
you should be able to call out
also known as Okpelema, an Ijaw community in Baramatu Kingdom. Now, this is also in the Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State, Wednesday morning, June 15, in search of militants. Now, this issue is the federal government, came out to say that, okay, we're giving a 2 weeks ultimatum for you to cease fire, cease
and let us sit down for dialogue.
Exactly, dialogue. But now it seems more like they have
the question, Ishama, now will be, who went wrong? Who went wrong? Was it that the instruction of the federal government to the soldiers were not clear, or the soldiers just took laws into their hands and they went, out of the confines or probably the instructions they have been given that they should cease fire? They are not only saying that the Avengers should cease fire, they're saying that, okay, we are not going to be shooting at you, you are not going to be shooting at us. We are downing our tools and we are going to sit in a round table, to probably have a dialogue.
First things first, now, both parties can be said to have broken the truce.
All right, let me quickly give you a build-up story to that. Now, reps yesterday asked, to secure that the federal government should secure 35.8 billion funding for amnesty program. Mm-hmm. Don't forget that during the administration of the late Shehu Yaradua, unfortunately, that was something that really worked and it brought a lot of succor and peace to the Niger Delta, because the amnesty, to a very large extent, supposedly, maybe it worked. Now, the House of Representatives has asked the federal government to immediately initiate a suitable plan to end the militancy in the Niger Delta. Now, the lawmakers said the confrontational approaches adopted by the government so far would only worsen the bombings of oil facilities by militants. Now, in its resolution in Abuja, the House also called on the government to secure additional 35.8 billion funding for the amnesty program in a bid to guarantee the continuous payment of allowances and training of the ex-agitators. Now, unfortunately, I think to a very large extent we have had opportunity to discuss this on the show.
Yeah.
And one of to a very large extent we had a conversation and we're saying, should we use dialogue or we use federal might? And we have had guests on this show, that probably are not, getting inclined, or they are not, they don't have an inclination towards one end. Why some people are saying, let us use military might, some people are saying, no, let us dialogue. And if the House of Representatives is coming up with a resolution to saying that, let us dialogue, these people have suffered enough, the region is in a very bad state, and we need peace in the Niger Delta. As a matter of fact.
The whole claim, and I'm sad that this is coming from the House of Representatives. You are saying, okay, federal government, please reserve this amount of money for amnesty. It's you prolonging your day of judgment. But when we look at what is happening in Nigeria today, I am glad that President Muhammadu Buhari is on board. And the truth is, what we need now is, let us look at all the problems in the country. Let us put all these problems on the table and find a lasting solution. You coming out to say, bring amnesty back, is like you taking us back to the Stone Age. Is that what we need right now? What are the legitimate claims of these people across board, not just in the Niger Delta region, both the Southwest, both the Northwest also? What is their claim? And we have found policy thinkers, people, the think tanks of Nigeria have sat down, weighed the pros and cons and said, look, when you begin to implement true federalism, in reality, not just on paper, when you refer to Nigeria as the Federal Republic of Nigeria, are we practicing true federalism in reality? The minute you begin to practice true federalism, you're going to say no to the problems in the Niger Delta region. You will say no to the agitation in the Southeast region. That is what we want, not amnesty.
Now, Ishama, let's take a look
amnesty.
at this. When Boko Haram activities started in the northeastern part of Nigeria, the administration, of the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, did all that they could, but they could not put an end to the insurgency. Now, the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government is already on board, and they are doing as much as they can to put out the activities, of the insurgency in the northeastern part of Nigeria. Now, if it can unleash the military might or forces to ensure that the activities are completely... These are people who probably are agitating for one thing that probably you will say belongs to them. They want Sharia, for instance, to be instituted in all the northern states of Nigeria. Now, in the Niger Delta, we have a classical case of people who are agitating for something too. The government, yes, as a federal government or as a nation, they are benefiting from the oil in the Niger Delta. Now, unfortunately, federal government by law owns everything under the soil. Now, the people who are inhabitants or people who are settlers in the Niger Delta who find themselves. Do you know Yoruba people could actually have been settlers in the Niger Delta? The Igbo people could have been the settlers in Niger Delta. The Niger Delta people is determined by a tongue or tribe, as it were. Let us look at it from a land space in Nigeria as a country.
D'accord. I am grateful to God that oil has been discovered in commercial quantities in Lagos State. Now, Lagos State may not
even across
Lagos State may not
all
fall,
the states of the Federation.
It may not fall
Zamfara,
under.
they are blessed and rich. With
other resources.
In over 39
now
mineral resources.
Guess what?
Yeah.
The claim for true federalism, the agitation that let true federalism be practiced, giving more power and credence to the federating unit is going to benefit not only the Niger Delta communities, true or false, it is going to benefit a Lagos that is not a Niger Delta community but an oil-producing community. Is going to also help even the northern states where we have other natural resources. So the truth is, Nigerians right now, we have gone way beyond looking at it to politicize things based on your ethnic group. We should be looking at, okay, how will it benefit the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Based also looking at our laws. And where we have shortfalls in some of these laws, I expect the lawmaking agencies, the law enforcement bodies to sit down and say, okay, look, we want Nigeria to grow and develop beyond where it is. This law does not support this. Let us expunge this. Let us amend it. But that's not what they're doing. I am sorry to say, I am sorry, and I need to say that the 8th Assembly is not doing as much justice in line with the change mantra of this government, in line with moving Nigeria to the next level of economic prosperity. That's all I can say.
Anyway, I mean,
you're not doing enough justice.
Anyway, I want to believe that. I mean, you based. I know that the 8th Assembly, as we speak, are busy. They passed about, even the day before yesterday, they passed about 8 bills, even though unprecedentedly it was presented within 7 minutes, about 8 to 10.
How interesting.
You know, and they go through the second reading as a matter of fact. And they went to the second reading.
The British legislative debate on laws, that way you will be proud, you will wish that, oh my God, I wish I was right there with them to ask them some certain questions, to be able to participate. But when I watch what goes on here, I ask myself, are these people seriously, are they patriotic enough for Nigeria? Because the truth is, when you look at the problems, when you look at the problems,
it will be very difficult for them to pass laws.
Well, you see, that is unfair. Your political affiliation, it's your personal affiliation. It shouldn't interfere in the way of you being a patriotic Nigerian. Because the problem is, Nigeria, and it's unfortunate, I need to say this, but the reason why Nigeria is at the way it is today, the reason why we're having this problem here, these Avengers here, this, that here, sea lions, Igbesu water lions here and there, is because the youth have little or insufficient positive role models to look after or to model their lives after. All we have is politicians who are interested in making money for themselves, not having people who are patriotic enough to say, in my generation, I want things in my country to be good,
now my question,
to move to the next level. We need to change this mentality.
We have region and domains where the Niger Delta Avengers, for instance, have been operating. We say the Niger Delta. Now, the truth is just that we have governors, elected governors, deputy governors, commissioners, in these states, Delta State, Bayelsa State, River State, wherever, all the location where we have activities of the Niger Delta militants. Mm-hmm. But the truth is that, have you seen any conference? Have you seen any
position that, yes, look at the NDDC, look at UNPADEC, look at the 30% derivation from the creation, from the birth of oil. The Niger Delta region, the governors in this region, the leaders in this region, one way or the other, have even collected and gotten money for the oil, especially from the international oil companies. But what do they do with these funds? The truth is, And this is another issue we need to critically analyze in the country, because if the government of President Muhammadu Buhari says, okay, let us begin to practice true federalism, the state and the local government should be in control of the resources. How? The next problem we are going to face is,
exactly.
The next problem, we're going to face a bigger problem, and that will be the state governors, the respective state governors and local government chairmen. How true will they be to using the resources and
develop their localities?
God bless you.
Fantastic.
This is another issue we need to begin to face and look at.
Now, but another thing, another way to look at this. Now, they gave 2 weeks ceasefire. Meanwhile, this condition has been breached.
Now,
the Niger Delta Avengers are aggrieved.
Let us be honest and truthful Nigerians.
And some of the conditions, some of the statement they made yesterday was the fact that, okay, we have seen that the attempt of government is to actually put faces to us. They want to identify who we are, and then they want to fight us. Now, they are taking a position, and the position is such that we are not even ready to dialogue again. We have not been killing people before now. We simply have been fighting facilities and all of that. But interestingly, going forward, I haven't realized or established the fact that government is actually not in that. In fact, what they said plainly was that this 2 week ceasefire for dialogue was a charade. And because of that, we will just take our hands again and go ahead and do the worst that we can.
Part of the problem I mentioned, the youth of today, I need to say it again, we need to have positive role models. I recall the Aburi Accord, the effect and the necessity why the Aburi Accord was called for during the Civil War. Now, at some point in time...
Let's take this call before we continue. Hello, good morning, David.
Hello.
Hello, David.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine.
Alafia.
Good morning.
You wasted my credit, so you got me credit.
So very
sorry.
See, I think as of today, we are now a civilized people. We are no more in those bush. Please, now, let us, because all that world now, what happened to the people who are living where they are getting oil? What happened to those people in another world? People have seen. You understand? They know what their benefit is supposed to be. And that's one thing. Another thing that there are 3 things that determine the location and the security of the people whom are living on the soil where there are resources. 1, the people who are living on that land. 2, the security of those people. 3, the people who are taking those resources for their own benefit. Now, we are talking about governor of those states. The question is, those governors, the security of their states is in their hand. There are several times when the governor
look at what somebody's doing in Lagos.
They will transfer the commissioner of the police to another place. You know, we must search everything so that we can get the truth. Federal government gets money from all the states to budget their Nigerian finances, and at the same federal government giving some kind of money to the states. Now, who's supposed to monitor those money? Not federal government. You are the one that take money. You are the one that give them money. And once you take large amount of money and you don't use it in a better place, the state itself, where you get the money, they can use the money to their own benefit. And then the Nigerian nation will not be built.
Okay.
This is the reason why the people of that land are fighting.
All right, thank you very much, David. Quite
David.
Insightful. But the truth is just that the federal government, we couldn't really read out, all our stories.
Yeah.
But as a matter of fact, one of the stories is such that the federal government released 23 points, to how that eventually, they gave the first batch or tranche of the bailout fund that were misused as far as federal government is concerned. They cannot probably explain what these monies have been used for. Now, they are saying that we have 90 billion naira that we're going to make at the, available to clear the debt so that you can pay outstanding salaries of your workers. But as a matter of fact,
Salaries
you have to fulfill these 23 conditions. Federal government has given them 23 conditions. If you can't fulfill it, you will not access any part of the, or any amount of the 90 billion naira. Let's take this call before we continue. Hello, good morning, Marvelous.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah,
Good
very
morning.
marvelous to have you on the show.
Good morning to everyone in studio, Mrs. Yoma and Mr. Dapo.
Thank you
Good
very
I
much.
really want to talk about this together. The bailout to state. I believe that state should not be bailout.
Okay.
They should not. They should
For
think.
now, we should look inward. I support fiscal federalism. I support truth federalism.
All right.
Forget this one that some people are saying that how possible is it in Nigeria. It is possible because if you don't develop that side, it will fall on you as the governor. You are the one that will be broke. Nobody,
true.
you will not be able to pay yourself. You will not be able to pay the House of Assembly. Look at Zamfara, for example. There is enough onions in Zamfara to feed Africa for 60 years. Nasarawa State, as small as it is the highest state in Africa with resources, 34 resources. What are they doing with it? Look at gold in Osun. Look at gold in Kwara. Even these Delta Avengers, I continue to say, the Avengers will not stop. These Medes Avengers, this militancy will not stop until we make true federalism. That's
should stop,
certificated derivation. Let us be honest.
should stop.
From 1999 till now, Delta State, Bayelsa State, they have to use their governors, South especially, have to use their governors. From 1999 till now, I believe that true federalism should be what we should be trying for. Let the state consider their resources. Let the state develop their resources. Let them do state policing, state workers. We run on a field federalism for now.
Okay,
we are practicing a unity system, and we are calling federalism. That's what I believe.
Thank you so very much for your insightful thoughts. Marvelous.
Well said.
Anyway, I mean, the truth is just that we don't want any war in the Niger Delta. We don't want any war in any part of the country.
And we actually want the bombings to stop.
To stop,
We
and all
want
of
it
that.
to stop.
That's what we preach on our platform.
Exactly.
And we believe that that is exactly what will happen. Let's take this call. Ahmed, good morning. Hello, Ahmed. All right,
okay.
At this juncture, we'll proceed on a break. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories. We'll be right back after this.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.